There you go. Fortunately connect, as you can see, but that's not going to be the video about the particular car, since we have the axle kit, the axle boot or the rubber boot, which should help us to fix what I done previous. It's a minor mistake, you know. After all, I was searching how to fix it without removing the axle, and I found the kit that is not require you to remove anything except the old boot if it's still there. Mine is just cut, as you've seen it. This kit would work with a variety of cars, from sedan, coupe, BMW, Mercedes, pretty much any of the cars. They include everything that you need in this kit. Before installation, let's dig inside and see what we have in the kit and whether or not this will work for your fix. This particular kit came from Dorman. I purchased it off the Amazon. I think it's roughly 30 bucks or something like that. But we have pretty much quick guide or read before installation, which is not really guide. And in the box, we have our kit. So how does it work? Apparently, this is pretty insane technology. You can see now and you can guess how does it, or how we're gonna be able to install it without removing the axle, which is really cool. So first of all, what I wanna say, it's different sizes, or you're gonna be able to cut the piece off, and if you have thicker axle, you're gonna be able to match it. Same as on this side. We're simply going to need to cut the leftovers or the piece we don't need. If your axle is thicker, then we have our clamps, which is only one concern. If you have a low profile or really small clearance on the axle, for example, like BMW, they really like to use those tight clearance in there. So this clamp wouldn't work. Or might, I'm not sure, but for most of the cars this solution will be okay. Otherwise, you're gonna need to buy a special clamps and a clamping tool. Then we also have the grease, which is you're gonna need to clean the axle thoroughly and basically put the new grease and then put the boot. Then we have a Loctite 401 adhesive, which is like instant pretty much. And we have our boot, which is have channels inside, and it goes one inside of another with sort of click, and that's pretty cool. If you don't want to watch the video, you know, you'll get the user manual, which is showing you how to install and how to remove and blah blah blah. So I know exactly how does it work, so let's jump in and try to install it. As you guys can see, it's pretty tight space right there. Which is not going to be the most pleasant installation overall, but we're going to have enough space, just enough space to work with this boot. First step is going to be removing those clamps. So first one is pretty much out. Yep, you can unbend it, and this is the one that is low profile. It's pretty nice, but you know. And gloves is gonna be really nice. Also, we're gonna need quite a few towels because we're gonna need to clean this stuff around. For the reason we're gonna be using the glue. And make sure you're not gonna cut your finger off while you're doing that. Being able to remove it, and there you go. So the only thing left is to hammer it, and it does work. And it's me from the future. At this point of video, I started losing the audio, so we'll be doing some of the voiceover. As you can see, I was trying to hammer the metal clamp. I was really impressed on how this setup worked. Indeed, the metal ring holding the boot, but underneath is plastic ring that slides on the axle hub. And it's really interesting approach from the Ford. If you're doing any kind of service to the axle, you simply can remove the bottom clamp and slide down the boot, which if I knew that very at the start, I would not be doing this job. But anyway, let's get to the main topic. So let's measure the diameter first, which is 27 millimeter to go for pretty much second stage. And we're gonna need to cut 2 of the outer pieces, which is fine. It's gonna be something like that. And be extremely careful with it. Okay, so it looks pretty nice. I just want to make sure this is the size that we need. I'll repeat the process with this piece as well. It's not like you need to be precise, but better to be sure than sorry. After measuring and looking for how much space I have at the other side of the axle or toward the transmission, I figured that I don't need to cut the upper portion of the boot. So I left it as is. At this point, we need to glue the half of the boot before installation. Make sure to use acetone or rubbing alcohol to thoroughly clean the surface before applying the glue. The glue that the kit includes is the special glue for the rubber. So it's sort of you making a weld instead of gluing. And that's one of the reasons that this fix can last for a really long time. I did apply a fair amount of glue on both sides and did a little path outside the groove, just to be sure. After that, let the glue cure for at least 5 minutes, even if it says 1 minute, again, just to be sure. While we're waiting, just want to add on top of audio problems, the camera started overheating and cutting the video. It's 90 degrees plus outside, but after that, I'm not be using the DJI Pocket 2 and will suggest you not to or be really careful with it. After 5 minutes, I gently slide the boot on axle. You can see everything is installed right now. I'm holding for a second to just make sure the glue is getting on, and indeed it does. Also, try to move it back and forth to make sure it's not gluing itself to the axle, because it's possible. It's really hardcore glue. Make sure to wear gloves because this job is pretty messy. As you can see, the glue is everywhere. I'm gonna go over the edges, the cracks, and we'll fill up with the glue even more. But as of right now, I feel like it's extremely hard, at least one side. So I already installed the clamps, which is not necessary. Make sure if you have the same ring on a hub, you're gonna install it first or on a proper side, because then you wouldn't be able to separate those pieces. Like, how funny it is, but it is what it is. Right there. Okay, so I'll try to get the grease in there. There you go, black stuff. Also, I can rotate the hub, try to get as much there as possible. I'll use my finger, just get it down and squish it in. At this point, you should be able to slide the boot and tighten the clamps. If you worry about that the glue will not hold or sew, just use the zip ties on every groove. I didn't do that personally, and it's been a month since the repair, and it looks good. I spent 40 to 50 minutes in that project, and overall it went pretty smooth. So I hope you guys liked this video and it was helpful, even with some missing pieces and camera problems. The future videos will be about BMW and Mercedes, so stay tuned for that, subscribe, and see you in the next one.